Okay, let me just start recording the session. Not some of those of you who are finding it difficult to unmute or access the chat box, please let me know. You should be able to access the chat box and use the mute unmute button. If you have any trouble, please let me know. Okay, so from the poster, you might have gathered that this course is designed to sort of uh, discuss in the form of to bring together texts from uh, various anti-caste thinkers who have said and talked and written a lot about uh, caste and how it functions and continues to function, and the strange yet uh, almost ghostly, sometimes very structural imprisonment it sort of binds people in, and what you do to unshackle yourself from it. Uh, I'm looking at also how the same few thinkers who wrote about caste also gathered the same kind of energy to write about other things as well. Four instructors for now have will be teaching on this course. We are going to do it in such a way that you don't sort of get tired or overwhelmed with uh, these 2 hour sessions every Saturday, week after week. In that, we will do the first 4 sessions and then by one instructor, and then maybe a gap, and then the next 4 instructors. I'll share a schedule with you. Now, the schedule has been made keeping in mind uh, how much time we will need to cover the subjects that we want to cover in these 30 hours. So it's 15 into 2 hours. That's 30 hours. We will break for a small time in December first, and then in February. At the end of this, there will be an open book kind of exam. But before I tell you a little more about what I'll be dealing with, and what I hope to do with this course, maybe all of you should, if possible, try to unmute and introduce yourselves. You can keep your camera on or off. That's up to you. You can show us your face if you want to. But yeah, please do unmute and introduce yourself to us. And also tell us why you are in this course and what you hope to take away from it. We understand that Saturday at 8 p.m. is a very sensitive time in terms of what people want to invest their energy in on a weekend. So I don't know how well it will work, but why are you choosing to spend your Saturday here listening to us talk about caste and people who wrote about caste is what I want to know. If you're doing this only for credits, especially SJC students, you can say so. No issues. But yes, let's begin with 19 BCom 53. If you can unmute yourself. Okay. 19 BPS 84. I don't know your names, so I'm going to call out your register numbers till I learn your names.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Myself, Raghavendra from BPS, ma'am.
Raghavendra. Yes. Can you tell us why you want to do this course?
My first purpose is to get credits, ma'am,
Okay.
and to, and to learn something about the whole times of caste.
Mm.
Like, how was it? How did they eradicate it?
Mm. Do you think they've
Something.
eradicated it?
Hello.
Do you think they've eradicated it? Is it gone? Is it still there? Okay, I think we lost you, but it's okay. We'll get back to you. BSW 06. What's your name?
Hello, ma'am. My name is Shravani.
Shavni.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Please go ahead.
I took this course because I wanted to learn like how it started, how everything started, the origin, and how we're working through to get rid of all the uh, crimes that's happening because of caste, etc. Just
Oh,
want to learn more about it.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Shavni. 27, 41, BSW 41, 26. Oh, yeah. 41, is it? 26. Aditi.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I took this course because I want to read about written about caste, written by everybody who has written about it, and I feel like I don't know enough about it. That I come from a privileged background, and I don't know anything about it. So I want to know more. I want to know why I get it, and yeah, I just want to know more.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Aditi. EPS, IES 4.
Ma'am, I think it's my net, or I think you're stuck.
I'm stuck. Wait, am I stuck? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, 70. EPS 70. Please go ahead.
Sorry, ma'am, could you repeat the question? I got logged out.
Oh, that's okay. You have to introduce yourself. Tell me what your name is and why you choosing to
Uh,
spend Saturday like this with.
I'm sorry. Could you hear me, or was my net a problem?
Aditi, I could hear you. No, I could hear you. Yeah, no problem. Sorry. Yeah, 70. Please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. My name is Chandni. I'm a fifth semester student.
Yes, ma'am. Could you hear me?
Tell me. Continue, Chandni.
Sorry. Yeah, my name is Chandni. I'm a fifth semester student at SJC. And I wanted to join this course because uh, I'm interested in learning more about anti-caste discourse, and I love Ambedkar. So I thought that it would be really interesting to be in your class to discuss Dr. Ambedkar and other, um, intellectuals who have been part of anti-caste discourse.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chandni. IES 5.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm Nikita from third IES, and I chose this course because coming from a privileged class, it took me a very long time to understand how deep and grave the situation is when it comes to caste discrimination. And this pandemic taught me a lot, and I realized that it's education. I'm sorry for the noise. Um, that's the thing. Sorry, I got lost. Yes. So this pandemic taught me a lot when it comes to that aspect. And this education, I need to read more and learn more, and I'm hoping to achieve that in this course. So, and it's a beautiful coincidence because I was looking for credits and I got this course. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. Nikita from CPE. Are you able to?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Sure.
So my name is Nikita, and I feel like know nothing. So that's the reason I decided to take this course because I want to learn more. And yes, that's it. I want to learn.
Okay. Thank you, Nikita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tanvi. Is that Tanvi?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tanvi. Ma'am, I took this course because I was really fascinated by Ambedkar and I wanted to look at it with a different perspective, just not in political science. And ma'am, I could never actually wrap my head around the idea of caste. I never care. I never cared all my life. Even in my family, my surname also, I was just like, I'm just Tanvi. I don't care. I don't know the other aspects of my. So I was very interested in this course that way. And yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Tanvi.
thank you.
Uh, Harshit, is it? 55?
Hello.
Yes, I can hear
Hmm. Hello. Excuse me, ma'am. Am I audible?
you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I had to cut the class, hang up the class, and then reconnect because I wasn't able to access the chat box, which I'm still not. Yeah, so only I didn't answer the roll call.
Okay. What is your name?
My name is Sanidhi, ma'am. 19 become 52053.
Why are you in school? Tell us.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Sanidhi? Okay, I'll get back to you, Sanidhi. Thank you. Harshit, please go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Uh, Ma'am, I chose this course because, as everyone said, coming from a privileged background, you really don't know about the struggles people have gone through or something like that. And I honestly wanted to read more about Ambedkar. I myself wanted to write about the caste. And obviously, when I saw that you will be assisting it, because I've read a lot about you, and I was just fascinated to have this course. Not that I'll get a credits as well, but I was looking forward to have certain kind of a knowledge and just come out of that of my own background and just think of for the people. So that's all my intention.
Thank you. Thank you. HEP 19? Okay. TP 55?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Please introduce yourself to the class.
Yes. So my name is Alka. I'm a second year TEP student, and the reason why I have chose this course because I belong to one of those caste which is reserved. So, and when we talk about caste, people think they have got all the privileges. They have got reserved category, and the topic ends there. But and they say like, okay, now we have passed come to independence of 70 years, and why are they still giving them such privileges? But people don't know the deep down reason why we are getting it and what still we face. Although there is officially there is no caste discrimination, but when people see you, there is something they are looking down to you.
Mm, mm, mm.
There is a deep reason behind it, and want to learn and I want to bring the change. Like, I want to show the people, like, these are the things which people do, but it doesn't come into a limelight, or people doesn't consider it as a problem. So that's, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Alka. HEP 19. Are you able to unmute now?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Ninoshka, and I'm a history, economics, and political science major. Uh, I took this course first of all because Vijita ma'am forwarded the posters onto the group, and I got very excited because I've grown up reading Ambedkar, and as someone who is not Savarna, it is very close to my heart. And so, personally, I just wanted to be in a space where I get to discuss all of this because that's not really something you come by all the time. And it's just another place for me to constantly have an excuse to talk about Baba Sahib and so many other authors who have influenced me. So, and also, Vijeta ma'am taught me last semester, and that really helped me sort of write better. So, a little bit of everything, I suppose, is why I'm here.
Thank you, Nimish. CPE 37. Rashmi? Rashmi, is that you? Can you unmute? Okay. 21 ENG 5. Is it Vismaya?
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my name is Gayatri. And the reason I took this course is because for a long time I thought caste didn't exist. And once I got to know how it's still prevalent, I wanted to learn more. And Ambedkar's writing kind of guided that. And I wanted to learn more about other writers who have written.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. What did you say? It was Gayatri, right?
Yes, ma'am. Gayatri.
Thank you. Ambika?
Hi, good evening, all. I just found, I follow your writing in various platforms and everything, and I really like your style. And I just would like to know more about the topic because I've read a lot, but I don't seem to like in many of the fiction and non-fiction. I have not consciously like read like because of the caste angle or anything. So I wanted to educate myself in that way. So a better understanding of like how caste is because we have not learnt it in school or colleges or anywhere. So that's why I took up the course.
Okay. Thank you, Ambika.
Okay. Thank you.
Anandita?
Hi, this is Anindita here.
Hi.
I'm pursuing PhD in Dalit literature. So I'm going to apply all these theories in my thesis. And when I was going through the autobiographies, Dalit autobiographies, uh, the part that is like it should be pointed out, it should be bring to notice to everybody is that the caste issue, which is still now this caste hegemony that is going on and on. And Ambedkar is just like Dr. Ambedkar is a god to them. So I got more interest the more I read the autobiographies. So that's how I just wanted to pursue a course on it, and I wanted to know more about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Where are you pursuing your PhD, if you don't mind?
President's University.
Sorry, where?
President's University.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anisha? Anisha, are you able to unmute? Okay. Those of you who are not able to unmute can leave your. Oh yeah. Hi. Hi.
Hi, everyone. This is Anisha. I am really grateful for this course being available. Being a 35-year-old who did not realize about caste until very recently, I'm trying to make up for all the education that was left out from my schooling. And being a playback theater artist, I feel that I need to read a lot more to be able to do what I'm doing, and which is why I'm here in class. Thank you so much for making this accessible for those who are not in college anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Did you say you were a theater artist?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Ardra?
I'm Arudra. I'm here because I want to listen and I want to learn, and more specifically I want to be a better anti-caste ally. And the thing that really pushed me to take up this course was the sort of subtitle to the title, which is Forays into Social Imagination. um, I think I think it's very important to learn how to imagine the future that you want to see. And yeah, so I'm here.
Thank you, Ardra. Aisha?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I think a lot of people have actually said a lot of what I want to say as well. I'm here to learn and to understand the nuances of things I thought I knew, realize I don't know after all, and to explore that much further.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha. Divya?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Divya. I'm from Chennai. I'm a social worker, training worker, and I'm here because I wanted to engage with the writings of anti-caste crusaders in a more structured way. I have had the opportunity to engage at different times, but in a very surface levels. And I wanted to learn from a group of people who are equally interested in learning more. And that's why I'm here. Also, I feel as I have to put it there, someone from the oppressor caste myself. I think it's my duty to learn more so that I can be a better ally and do what is required. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Like it's very rare that after leaving college we all get such an opportunity to engage with writings in such a manner. So, as everyone before has mentioned, really very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Divya. Ishwari?
Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. Are you new to Teams?
No, but this was an updated version. So,
Okay.
anyway, so the reason behind me joining this course, firstly, because I completely resonate with whatever all the others are saying. I mean, I realize that caste is there everywhere. Consciously, it's there, even if people take it unconsciously. So, yeah, I mean, I started realizing and knowing more about it only because of all the classes we have had in my degree. So since this is focusing completely on it, I just wanted to attend and know more, learn more, and try to, I try to write. I just want to improve the way I write in terms of caste. And also because this is giving me another reason to just come back to the department and Joseph. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ishwari. Hita?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I took this course because I think it's something I've been meaning to look more deeply into for a while now. I've been reading snippets here and there and listening to some voices, and I realized there's quite a bit left for me to both learn and unlearn. And I feel like doing it in a structured manner like this would be really helpful. So, yeah, thank you so much for offering this.
Thank you. Kanika?
Hi.
Hi.
Everyone. Good evening. Yeah, a lot of what I wanted to say has already been said. I also come from a very insulated life and a very privileged life, and I work with children from marginalized communities, and caste is something that comes up a lot. And while I've been trying to educate myself um, for the past few years, I this was an opportunity to learn in a structured way, and I'm just here to learn. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanika. Lakshmi?
Hi, I'm Lakshmi. Firstly, I think to almost scary amount, I follow your work. So I think as we'll learn from you. So a couple of my friends have taken your class last year, I think, and I was very angry with them that they didn't tell me about it. So this time I sent them the poster. So yay. And second is like Anisha, I also perform the same form of art, which is a form of improvisation, real life stories, and it's a very Western form of art, which means that there isn't quite the model that we adopt is anti-racist lens. And while there are some parallels, I coming from a very casteist family, overtly and covertly, and having this conversation and miss in both undergrad and post-graduation education, I find that gap coming back again in my body and in my thinking. Also sometimes I find myself very lost on Twitter, So I thought this structured manner would be very useful. Yeah, thank you very much again for making it available to folks who miss college and are old. So thank you.
Thank you. Liz? Liz, can you hear us? Yes.
Yeah, hi. I joined the course because, I mean, as others mentioned, I wanted something structured. And yeah, so I thought I was part of some anti-caste reading groups, but it all frizzled out. So I thought, maybe this will be good. So yeah.
Okay. Lynn?
Hi, ma'am. Good evening. So I had the opportunity to learn Dalit literature under you and Etienne sir during my master's. And now I teach, right? And now I'm faced with the challenges of teaching caste in itself. And I realized that certain ideals that we are dealing with, that is, in regard to reservations and why opportunities are provided when, we are advocating for equal rights. So these are certain factors that I find quite difficult to deal with. So one of the reasons is I hope to sensitize myself so that I can sensitize my students. And it is one of the reasons that I wanted to pursue this course. Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Narayanan?
Hi, can you hear me? Hi, my name's Narayanan, and I run a small startup that makes technology products for people with disabilities in Chennai called Avaz. So I have had quite a privileged upbringing, and like someone said, insulated is the right word. But I've been reading up a bit about caste in the past few years, thanks to my wife. So I wanted to take this course to understand some of the structural things that I've been taking for granted, and also potentially get a vocabulary to explain the next generation, less perhaps previous. So that's thanks for this opportunity, and thanks for making this accessible to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, Narayanan. Nishita? Nishita, can you hear us? Pooja?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, this is Pooja. I was a part of the 2018 ME batch at St. Joseph's, and we had that literature paper in our third semester, and it was the first time that I was exposed to readings and learnings about caste. And we read a lot and we wrote a lot. And currently, I'm working in Pune, and I realized that I haven't been having these conversations and I haven't been continuing these learnings. So what I am hoping to do with the course is to sort of pick up where I left off, I guess, and yeah, continue my learning and read and write like I did when I was doing my MA. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Prashant?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Prashant. I'm here because I really like being in classroom as a student, and it's been a while since I graduated from college, so it's great to be back reading all these amazing works. And I also thought it would be a wonderful place to find interconnections between various writers who have uh, been very inspiring. So yeah, I'm just very excited to be in a class again. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant. Although you have to make do with the online class for now.
Yes.
Thank you. Prerna?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Prerna, and I'm here because I genuinely just wanted to read a lot of the writers that were mentioned in the course description. But also, I think that, like someone else said, the byline of the course, for somebody who is from an oppressor caste background, I think the way I see myself is also as an imagination often, and I wanted to just look at that, how I see myself as against what is.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prerna. Shalit? Charlotte, Maria, can you hear us?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi, this is Maria here. I'm a part-time student. Because of a one credit, I'm just doing this course, and I need to improve my vocabulary, so I have chosen this course.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Shireen. I am doing a PhD on caste among Muslims in India. And for that, while I try to read anti-caste intellectuals, I think the way I approach them is in a more political or a social lens. And I rarely get time to focus on their writing and see their works as, works of literature. And the description in this course, and also I've been following your writings for a while, and I think that made me feel that I might get the space here to see the text as literature as well. And yes, everything everyone else said about being in a structured class, I really miss it. So I'm hoping to spend my week doing this. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheila. Sunena?
Hi, I'm Sunena. Yes, like everyone's been saying, I feel similarly that there's a huge gap in my understanding of caste, and I want to read more and educate myself, and also do that in a group and with people who know and have written about the subject. So that's why I'm here.
Vignesh?
Hi, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Vignesh. I'm here for the same reason that most people are, in that I grew up very sheltered in the way that I did not see caste around me. I feel like in my undergraduate study, I learned how to recognize caste around me. I recognized where caste was in my life previously, why some people are treated the way they are, and I was able to attribute things to caste in my from my past that I wasn't able to until then. But I never had a solid reading into it, and I'm here for that reason. In that sometimes I'm able to recognize things, but I'm not able to be assertive about it, and that I don't have the knowledge, and that's why I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Vikram?
Hi, my name is Vikram Rajan, and it's been a really long time since I have been in a class. I was introduced to this by Arul sir, and encouraged to take a creative writing course when I wanted to improve my writing in general. Why this particular course is that I have been, I've been part of a family in which I've been witness to far too many instances of very unsubtle instances, essentially of meting it out to other people and feeling intellectually stunted to provide an educational or educated argument to stop them. So that's why I've joined this course.
Thank you, Vikram. Vishwak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Viswak. I'm a journalist from Chennai. I'm here. I did a master's a couple of years ago now, and I read a lot of history and politics, Indian history and politics, and there was a lot about caste there, but very little by lower caste people. It was mostly by white people or upper caste people. So when I saw the the authors mentioned on the poster, I really wanted to read about them in a structured manner, and I've been following your writing for quite a while, and I figured I could definitely trust your guidance.
Thank you, Vishwak. If I've missed out any names, if you were able to join only now and would like to, yes, introduce yourself. We have Nisha.
Hi, I'm Nisha. I'm also joined by my friend and colleague.
Hi, I'm Dravina.
So I have the opportunity to live and work in rural India. And I think it's really everything here is about caste. And that context, I believe, is important for me to do well in what I'm doing today. Really excited for all the readings and to listen to interesting experiences of all of us engaging with this course.
Uh, I think a lot to add to what most of them have shared here. Sorry, this is Dravina. Both of us are logging in from the same device, and hence that will be the case for the rest of the course as well. So I think I'm pursuing my master's in education from TIS, and I think right now I feel like I'm at a point where I want to read and learn as much as I can and absorb and see how it applies to the work that we do with children and women in rural Kadlur. Yeah, very excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Nirushka, is that a new hand or an old hand? I'm not able to say.
It's an old hand, but I thought I put it down.
Okay. It's gone now. Thanks. Vikram, yes, you have something to say?
I can't access the chat box. It says available to team members only.
Okay. Yeah, so it's because some of you have logged in as guests, the chat box won't be available, but it's okay. I won't be posting anything very important on the chat box today. We will be using the same link for all our meetings on Saturdays at 8 p.m. So you just log in using that. Any other reading material will be mailed to you. So don't worry, we won't put anything else on the chat box for now. You will be sent an Microsoft Forms document at one point via email. I'll put it here for students. So those of you who can access the chat box can take it here. The others, I will email it to you. We just need it to document attendance and such things for administrative purposes. Okay. Anyone else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hi, I could just join now. My name is Geet.
Hi.
I did half the creative writing course the last time due to my health situation, I didn't complete the course. But in whatever I attended, the amount of learning that was there was definitely one of the motivators to come here. And being from oppressor caste, when I read all the authors that was mentioned in the poster, sometimes it feels like I need a space to talk about all those feelings and emotions that are coming up. And but there is dearth of space, I feel, to put these things out, and I thought it will be nice to be here and listen to everybody and share things with everybody while reading together. So thank you for creating this space.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Before we move on with our session, I want to throw open the floor for any questions that you might have about the course, or technical questions about teams, or your readings and things like that. Any questions that you have? You can put your hand up or you can unmute yourself. Yeah, Ambika?
Hi, I mean, I've not used Teams before. I'm not familiar with it. The chat box is the one, is it a separate chat box or something? Or like, because you said you will be sending something, so is it a separate template or tab or something that appears?
So the thing is, people who have email IDs and are registered users on Teams will have a separate chat box. It's not something it's not separate, it's an outside of Teams. It's here as a button. But I don't think guest users have that option, so that's okay. We won't be discussing.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Because they were saying chat box and I didn't know, like, I wasn't sure if I had done it right or something. That's why. Thank you.
Don't worry. Yes. Any other questions? Oh yes, Chandani, is it? You have a question? Yes, yes.
I have two questions. The first is, even though I do my regular classes on Teams, I'm unable to see the chat box.
Okay. I can check that for you later. Maybe there is something that I have to set right here. So
Okay. Thank you. My second question is, will we continue online even after our classes resume offline?
yes, we will continue online because a large number of our participants are from outside Bangalore. So it'll be really unfair if we'll move offline suddenly. This is meant to be an online online certificate course. So we will remain online until we
Okay.
finish.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Anandita? Anandita, can you hear me? You have a question? Harshit?
Yeah, ma'am. I also had the same query that I'm not able to access the chat box.
Okay. Okay. I see. The thing is, I haven't added you to this team particularly. So what we are doing is we've created a new team on MS app where we call it certificate courses. So once I add all of you on that team, you'll be able to access the chat box. So don't worry about it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Lakshmi, you have a question?
Sorry, I just want to check two things. One was, would we, since it's a 2 hour class, would we have a break in between just to plan?
Yes.
Okay. And second was, would it be mostly lecture demo in its process? Yeah, I just want to check what would be the model. Or it is not decided, that's fine. I just want to check.
Okay, so the thing is, it won't be 8 to 10 on all Saturdays. It'll be sometimes 8 to 9:30, 8 to 9:45, sometimes just 8 to 9:15. If you're if it's just a 1 hour session, then the other 30 minutes will be a writing task or something, like a certain kind of response you'll be told to make to whatever we've read or discussed in the class. All our instructors might have different ways of approaching the subject. So we are leaving it up to each instructor to decide how they want to plan the class. Yeah, so it will be mostly lecture / interaction. It won't be all lecture. There's definitely room for interaction and for you people to sort of talk and reflect on what you've been able to understand.
Thank you.
Thank you. Harshit, is that a new hand or an old hand? Prerna?
Yeah. Are you taking only questions about logistics now, or is
Yeah, you can
about
ask
the course?
Anything.
Yeah. I was just curious to ask about the title of the course. But I figured it was a play on casting couch, but apart.
Professor Arulmani will be able to tell you more about the title of this course. He came up with the title. He's here now, so he will take care of the next half of the session, and he'll tell you more. I found it very difficult to keep saying couching cast every time I was talking about this. I kept calling it casting couch, and even now I keep calling it casting couch. So I have to be very careful about that. Yeah, but sir will tell you a little more about why he chose this title and what he wants to do with this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, Ananta, can you hear me now? I can see that you've unmuted, but I can't hear you. Okay. Sir, are you here? Do you want to take over now, or do you want to give me? Do you want to give them 5 minute or 10 minute break? Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can. I'm not planning to take over from you, Vijeta, not today at least.
Okay.
What I will do is first say hello and welcome to everybody. Such a great thing to have so many different people taking the course, students, working professionals, academics, people doing research. so many people from different backgrounds. I look forward to the conversations and the questions. So hello and welcome, everybody. We're all very excited to have you here with us. The second thing I'd like to quickly talk about is the title itself. But before I get to that, I want to also talk about what the loneliness of the non-Savarna student is like, right? I grew up listening to anti-caste discourse and stumbling upon it and reading it, sometimes by accident. Sometimes I think it was placed in my path by my father. And to go to school and to go to college and to go to university and to go to work after that were all strange experiences because those worlds seem to act as if this other world didn't exist, right? And it grew even weirder as I ventured uh, towards the social sciences, towards the humanities, because I could see that in these worlds there were mentions of the sort of discourse I heard more regularly, but those were discourses always, those were mentions that always happened within very carefully set boundaries. And there also appeared to be a modicum of hostility at any attempt at pushing the discourse beyond the boundary within which it was set, right? And so it took me a long time to understand this experience and to sort of be able to talk about it. I don't think I found a space where I could talk about it actively till my late 30s, right? So it's that experience that goes into the title Couching Caste, right? I'm referring somewhere to two things. One is the idea uh, of anti-caste thinkers having to almost create a new language or to create a kind of subset of the existing language within which to talk about caste. Right? It's a very strange thing. Why is it that you have to do this with an experience that's around you all the time, with an experience that's definitive of the possibilities that are available to people? It's an interesting conundrum in that sense. Why is it necessary that everybody who talks about caste has to find a way of fashioning language in order to be heard? Right? One of the things it seems to point to is a very strong mechanism of what the theory types would call repressive tolerance. Right? We seem to have produced that inside the operations of what we like to call modern, free Nehruvian India. Right? So that is one of the things that was on my mind when I put that phrase together. The second thing, so it's basically the interplay between these two things. One is the need to fashion a new dialect, the need to create a kind of language that will break through and demand attention. And the second element in the choice of the word couching is that there are these very carefully preset boundaries and rules and restrictions that frame the ways in which we can talk about caste. These politenesses are the other thing that I think I'm trying to refer to in the title, Couching Caste. So these are the two things I'm hoping to explore. What are the prohibitions? How do we learn them? How do we internalize these politenesses? What sorts of antennae do we develop? What sorts of anxieties are these antennae connected to, and so on at one level. And I'm also fascinated by the breaking through. Each time a Phule or a Rayoti Dasar or a Iyengali writes or articulates a position that upends the natural seeming hierarchy of their world or their time, it's a miraculous event, right? I'm also interested in the miracle of this understanding of the world, of this alternative imagination of the world, and I'm interested in seeing if we can what we can draw from it in a time where these spaces are definitely going to diminish. As I speak, the NEP, the National Education Policy, is being implemented in Karnataka, and we can see the space for any kind of discourse being throttled in the most careful and methodical way possible, right? Colleges are being told what they can teach, syllabi are being determined not by universities anymore, but by a new group of overqualified administrators and bureaucrats who seem to be handpicked for on account of their loyalty to a particular cause or a particular ideology, right? So we are definitely in a time the where the invisible hand that Adam Smith dreamed up has a completely different function, that are arising out of nowhere in nightmare fashion and squeezing the spaces available for thought, for dissent, for alternative imaginations, for social imaginations in the most effective way possible, right? So to be able to do this, right, is important. To be able to do this now is very important. And I think what allows this space to exist is that it's a completely unimportant space, right? Nobody is going to get a job out of doing this course. It's not a course that leads to an important degree. A few of our students are going to get credits for it, but the NEP has already taken care of that for the incoming batches. They'll have to do 2 hours of yoga and 2 hours of something called wellness as part of their need to earn credits apart from academics. So the NEP is going to be an interesting foe to do combat with. We came up with the idea of doing this course as soon as we read the NEP and realized what it was going to do to vibrant campuses where spaces have traditionally emerged through reading initiatives, right? Right now, we are free to do this. I don't know if that freedom will be available next year, right? So it's with that sense of urgency that we embark upon this reading project. It's essentially a reading project for me. I came across Periyar in translation at the age of 7, and I remember feeling very angry when I read him because he was doing a point-by-point skewering of the Ramayana. Right? He said 3 things that upset me inside the first 5 minutes of my reading that pamphlet that he had written. He said Ravana is actually the person who should be the hero of the Ramayana, but because the people writing it had no brains or no sense, right? Various weak-kneed people end up becoming heroic characters. I can't tell you how much how
So we're not able to hear you.
Yes. Just a moment. Sort it out.
2 things commissioned. He had a portrait of Periyar in one corner of our house, of our front room, and a portrait of somebody named Devanaya Pavadar on the other wall. So these 2 guys were looking at each other all the time in our front room. Pavadar was the founder of a very extreme group that sort of sought to move beyond Karagam politics in Tamil Nadu. It was something known as the Ulahat Tamil Karagam. It operated out of a small office in Mount Road, but its ambitions were huge. Ulahat Tamil Karagam stands for World Tamil Karagam, right? And he offered a very interesting sort of, he wrote in non-stop, this man, all the way down till his 80th year, Pavanar. and he had an anti-caste polemic that was grounded interestingly, in the idea of Tamilness being an antidote to caste, right? As I think about it now, it sounds like baloney to me, but my father read him and admired him. And these were the two people who I was taught to call Tata, right? There was Periyar Tata on one side and Pavanar Tata on the other side. Uh, they were embodiments of grandfatherliness in my childhood. And here was this man kicking my favorite story aside. It felt terrible. I had no words to describe the tears that came to my eyes and the anger that I felt as I read him. But as I continued reading him, as I went past the moment of anger, I also found myself giggling at various points because of the way in which he translated some parts of this himself. And so there were ways in which he used specific English words to make fun of characters, right? The Tamil word for what Periyar was regularly able to do is Eranam, the word meaning to be derisive, to be able to make fun of somebody very easily. And it's that quality that I got my very first encounter with Periyar after having gotten over the initial period of great anger and tears. Right? So, at one level, this course is an opportunity for me to return and reread some of the people I read by accident, like Periyar, or read for a kid like me to be read. Right? I'm also looking at that anti-caste foundation and looking at it in terms of what my quarrels with it are today and what small understanding I have that is separate of that polemic, of that rhetoric. Right? So I'm hoping to look a little more at Periyar, to read a little more Phule, to read a little more Ayodhya as part of the sessions I have with you, right? And I don't know how much structure we can offer, but I'm looking at it in terms of giving you readings and taking questions in some sessions, and also looking at people responding in writing to certain textual features and to certain strategies of writing that each of these anti-caste thinkers adopt in the specific pieces that we are reading. Right? I hope that gives you some idea of what I'm trying to do. Back to you, Professor Vijayata.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Today's session won't be a longish session. We'll close by 9:20, 9:30. I'll take up questions if you have any. Some of you have just joined again. If you have any questions later, I'll take those up. I'll just sort of outline what I'd like to do in these classes. There's a certain kind of helplessness that I remember that I used to feel before I came across Ambedkar and his works. And this helplessness easily translated to a very acute sense of powerlessness, of not knowing how to be, of not knowing how to respond to people in specific situations where it felt like they were saying something that they are not supposed to say, but I had no way of telling them that listen, you're not supposed to say this, or I had no way of telling them why they were wrong. It felt like they're saying it very confidently, so they must be right. To give you a small example, I mean, schools are obviously dotted with experiences where people decided where some of us sat, even if teachers had very clearly assigned certain specific seats for us in school benches. But somehow, some of us seem to fear these people more than our class teachers because of a certain kind of authority they were able to wield within the classroom, even though they were not as old as the class teacher, and they were the same age as well. Something about the way they moved in the classrooms meant that they had something that I didn't, and that I had to listen to them. So these experiences followed outside the classroom and became other things. Uh, and I always thought that it was something that I don't have, that made people behave this way with me. Whether it was a certain kind of disrespect they showed in terms of uh, a way of deliberately excluding people from conversations or from lunch invitations, or a casual conversation or a casual walk around the school or whatever, it became very clear that uh, that I didn't know then that I was not imagining it. I thought I was imagining it. That's how confident caste is. That's how confidently caste will behave with you if you're aware of it. It'll make you feel that you're imagining it, you're hallucinating, that you're possibly imagining the worst version of yourself because you're insecure. It's nothing. Um, and this helplessness, this powerlessness came even at workplace, at college, in the classroom, where I became again the young child who didn't know what to do in a situation, even though I was 25 and 26 and 27 and 28. It still felt like age had nothing to do with how helpless I was feeling. And I kept comparing myself to 28-year-old women or 30-year-old women or even younger women, my students sometimes, who seemed to have a certain way of just being and not uh, a certain way of just being in the classroom, in the way they talked, in the way they walked. And I didn't know what it was that they had and I didn't. But after I read Ambedkar, it made sense to me. It felt like I was suddenly given the language to feel that I didn't suddenly receive the language to feel powerful. That never happens. I still don't feel very powerful. What I received instead was a language to feel that I was not wrong, that I didn't imagine those things in my childhood or in my school or in college, that there is a word for these kinds of experiences, and that uh, my feeling belittled or my allowing to make other people make me belittled has nothing to do with me, but with the way they are, and there is a word for it. And when I realized that uh, it's not me, it's the way it is, I'm ashamed to admit that there was a sense of relief. I was relieved because now it's not my problem, that it's their problem, that it's the world's problem, and I'm not doing anything to cause it. They're doing this because they're responding to my caste. They're not responding to me. What I did in that moment was also I disassociated from my caste in a certain way, in that it made me feel like as long as it's not my problem, I can work on it. This relief soon became power, because then it felt like I could borrow these words that I was finding in Ambedkar's works to fix certain parts of me that didn't know what to do in these powerless situations. To give you one example, in the first paper that he wrote called Caste, Its Genesis and Mechanisms at Columbia University, Ambedkar was 25 years old when he wrote this paper and read it out in a room full of white men and women. Uh, he says, and he's explaining how caste functions and the order functions. And he's explaining why caste and class are different. And he says that the differing thing between caste and class is that in caste, there is a certain kind of door that you close. And each caste closes its doors so that mobility is not possible. even if you marry into these castes, that kind of mobility is not always guaranteed. It's possible, but not guaranteed. And Ambedkar says that, in a way of explaining how that door functioned, he says some castes closed the door and other castes found the door closed on them. And there's a certain kind of poetic way and a certain kind of finality in which he says that. I'll take that exact line and read it out maybe towards the end of the class. But that door metaphor made a lot of sense to me. And I felt it opened something in me that made me understand quite literally why there were a lot of doors being shut on my face, and the faces of people that I knew very well. I read him and I kept reading him until I discovered other writers. And I think that I was feeding off of whatever I found in these works to construct a self for myself that was able to fight, in some sense, the ghosts from my past. Not that my life at present is casteless in any sense and that there was more caste in my past. But I think a lot of us here, both Savarna and Avarna, are fighting certain demons from the past, whatever those demons may be. Sometimes these demons don't let us proceed. Sometimes they hold us back so strongly that we don't want to proceed ourselves. But I believe that there's no such thing as reading these people, because I think that these people need to be reread again and again. A friend's father once told me that everyone should always read one page of Ambedkar before going to bed. And when I heard it, I didn't listen to it in the sense of breaking caste as such, but I've always believed that more than being an anti-caste thinker and an intellectual and a reader, Ambedkar is an artist, because he wrote poetry also. He wrote love letters and letters. He liked gardening. He played the violin. He learned music. He studied plants. He studied trees. He was able to point out all trees and name their botanical scientific names as well. And it's sad that when we think of Ambedkar today, we only know him as the father of our constitution, if we do remember that he wrote our constitution. But I'm amazed that this man was also able to expend the same energy into these other areas as well. So when that man said reading a page of Ambedkar before going to bed every night, this is what I'm taking it as. I think this is a process in learning how to become an artist, more than learning how to become anti-caste. What for Ambedkar was a way of being anti-caste was reading until it filled your holes, that caste left in your body, education, intercaste marriage, intercaste dining, one of the very strong ways of dealing with caste and fighting with caste. But what he's left behind in his body of work is another way of being anti-caste, which I don't think even he recognized, which is to be an artist, and to be responsible for that art in such a way that it becomes your passion and fuels your life in a certain way. So that leaves you very little time to sit and figure out who is worthy of your friendship, who is worthy of your conversation, who you can eat with, who you can't eat with, etc., etc. The other side of this is also that I also believe that there is more to anti-caste literature than Ambedkar. But my beginning to anti-caste literature began with Ambedkar, which is why I thought I'll begin with him first. Reading Goggu Shamala unlocked me in ways that even Ambedkar couldn't. In that people always believe that reading theory will be able to reading theory is somehow more concrete to our lives and what surrounds it than fiction is. But Gogu Shamala's fiction has done that more for me. It has quite physically and viscerally helped me out of many situations. So I'm hoping to take you through some of these readings and talk about the almost physical slash psychological effect that reading these people can have on me and a bunch of my students. So I'm hoping to give you a window of sorts. I'm not an expert on Ambedkar. And I don't think every Dalit person you meet should be an expert on Ambedkar. I'm also not an expert on anti-caste literature. And I think it's very important to begin with that confession, with that admission at this point, because I don't think only people who are experts should be talking about Ambedkar. I think everyone who wants to learn, as so many of you have said, wants to learn about what is so wrong about the way our country is structured and how to fight it must read Ambedkar. So I guess I'll stop here and see if you have any questions about what I've said so far or anything else that you might want to ask. You can unmute or you can raise your hand.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, the metaphor that you said about the door thing, can you just elaborate a little?
Yeah. So with class, how it works is that if you have enough money, you might be able to get a new life. In that, there's a certain way in which money operates, in that it will quickly make you more visible to other rich people. It will give you some kind of visibility. Having money is a way of being visible. How it functions in caste is because there are these 4 varnas. There's the Brahman, there's a Kshatriya, there's a Vaishya, and then there's a Shudra. Ambedkar was trying to explain why that mobility is not possible like it is possible in class. Like a lower class man or lower class woman can make enough money to become rich. That doesn't happen in the Varna order. Because it works with a closed door policy where some people are very rigid about closing their doors, meaning no intercaste marriages, no interdining. Not going to eat your food. I can't eat from the same vessel that you do. You can't sit next to me. I won't come to your house. If I come to your house, I won't drink your water. That's a way of being that closed door. Untouchability is a way of showing that closed doorness. When some people close doors, what you're implying is that they have the authority to close these doors. When other people on the other side find that the doors have been closed for them, it means that they have no say in this. They don't have the authority to close doors or open doors. They are on the other side of the door. I hope that makes sense, Harshit.
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you.
I'm giving you a very weak explanation of this. It's much sexier when Ambedkar says it. I'll read these lines out if I can. But yeah, we will go more into detail about what he means by this closed door, open door policy when I finally do the text with you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned a novel, right? Goku. Can you just say the name or
so
can you repeat it? Repeat it? Yeah.
She's a Telugu writer called Gogu Shamala. Gogu Shamala. She wrote this book called Father May Be an Elephant and Mother Only a Small Basket.
Okay.
I know I can't share it on the chat box. What I'll do is I'll just show it to you on my screen. Okay. Can you? Okay. Can you confirm if you can see this? See my screen? My desktop screen on your systems?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you can. Okay, see, that's the title.
Yes,
of
I
the
can
book.
see it. Thank you. Thank you.
Father would be an elephant and mother only a small basket.
Gogu Shamla.
It's a collection of short stories by this writer called Gogu Shamla.
Gogu Shamla. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's fiction, but she draws a lot from her life and the life of a community to write this. So in my head, the difference between fiction and non-fiction is very blurry. I owe it to multiple people in my life to say that, but I'll explain why I say that later. Anyone else? Geet?
Yeah. Often in my circles and friends and family, I find that um, it's so easy for them to understand race. But when it comes to caste, there is some sort of this denial or refusal. And I'm often left confused as to why is it that you're able to understand one thing but refusing to understand this other thing which is so obvious and so visible in every moment of our lives. So yeah, so just like that's my question, that's a confusion that I sit with, and if you have any thoughts on that, it will be nice to hear that.
I have a secret belief that uh, most Indians believe that they are white. Okay, and when I say Indians, I mean Savarna Indians, and that their immediate problem is race, not caste, not religion. So I find it very I find it also very equally. I used to get very irritated, but then now I find it very amusing and I find it very ridiculous. That's one way of looking at it. See, but the other serious response to your question is that at one level, it's if you have had a sheltered and protected life, you will believe that caste happens only in villages or that it doesn't happen even in villages because it's been eradicated, or that caste is a British construct, that it came because of the Britishers and they left it behind and went, or that actually caste exists only in reservation, that it actually doesn't exist. Um, Part of it is coming from a very serious problem of the inability to recognize and see caste. And for this, I can't entirely blame them. Our school systems are built to enable this kind of understanding. You take a look at any of your school social science textbooks and take a look at what they're saying about caste or sati, for instance. Listen to what they have to say about someone like Rajaram Mohan Roy or Vivekananda, and how much textbook space someone like Gandhi will get, and how much textbook space someone like Ambedkar will get. It begins there, definitely. It also begins in the way in which they think that the untouchability that they practice in a very customized, routine, ritualistic way is actually not untouchability, it's hygiene. So everything from why I eat only vegetarian food, or why I'm a vegan, or why I have separate vessels for someone else, or why we have separate toilets or separate entrances for domestic helps at home, or why I can't eat in my friend's house, or why she can't eat in my house. Uh, the way in which caste functions in these spaces, to borrow the words of my favorite filmmaker, R.P. Amudan, who last year came to a conference that we organized and said this very amazing thing about caste. He said caste is constantly updating itself. It's like a virus. It's constantly updating itself so beautifully that it doesn't even need a face to exist at this point. It's so prominent and so powerful that it can exist with very little help or support from the people who need it and support it constantly. Like how a software gets upgraded every now and then. Caste has to update itself and upgrade itself to make itself like an amoeba shape-shifting form. Wherever it goes, it assumes that shape. So much so that it makes itself invisible when it wants to. It makes itself visible when it wants to. It has to make itself invisible not because people make it invisible, but because out of fear for the constitution now and then, which is that some things are punishable by law. So it will make itself invisible in these circumstances. So it's easier to see race for some people. And I've come from a very specific teaching experience where in my classroom, we teach a paper called Resisting Caste. And I once asked this question to students. I said, I asked them if they think that caste influences friendships. And they were all very defensive. And they said, of course not. I never ask my friends' caste before making friends with them, which is true. Not many of us go around asking people's caste identities before we become friends with them. And they fought with me and said, no, we never do that. I don't think caste influences friendship. Then I said, okay, do you think race influences friendship? And they immediately said yes. I said, why? They said white people will find it easier to make friendship with white people. Black people will find it easier to make friendship with black people. So I said, if race can influence friendship, how do you think caste can't influence friendship? And they found it very difficult to tackle that because in their heads, discrimination can only exist in the most visible ways when visibly one person looks different. Otherwise, it's not discrimination. So it's quite difficult to give you one straight answer as to why people look at race more sympathetically than they look at caste. But see, the other amusing problem is if you admit that there is a caste problem, you admit that you are also the problem. And not many people want to admit that. I hope that answers your question. I'm sorry I took so long.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for elaborating.
Vikram, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for clarifying that about race and caste. That's something I agree with you that it's easier to understand without even reading anything about it. Pardon my ignorance, but will this course also go into caste from taking a lens away from the religion point of view? Once you step into Savarna and Avarna, automatically you are into Hinduism. So will it go? There was a participant in the classroom who was doing a dissertation on caste and another religion per se. But will this course also tackle some of those topics?
The twisted way of answering this question would be the way Ambedkar answered it, which was for him that if you're talking about caste, you're talking about religion, which in India is understood as if you're talking about religion, you're talking about caste. Especially if you're talking about Hinduism, you're definitely talking about caste. So yes, we will talk about how these spaces operate in different religions and how they feed into each other.
Thank you.
Anandita, you have a question? Okay, I think that's an old hand. Chandni, you have a question?
No, ma'am, my hand's not raised.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments, questions that you may have?
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, we'll be reading poetry.
Yes, yes. If there are some instructors who would like to bring poetry, they will definitely bring poetry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you for a very fruitful first session. Thank you for introducing yourselves and taking time out from your Saturday to come here. We will meet again next Saturday at 8 p.m. Your reading material will be given in that class. So we will begin from next class onwards. If your instructor wants you to come prepared with the reading material, they will mail it to you. If they don't, it means that you will be having a discussion or an interaction round. That's what it means. Don't worry about materials not being sent to you. If they want to get in touch with you, they have your email IDs, they'll send it to you. We are taking a vote on whether to start another WhatsApp group. If we do, you will be added on it. You can leave it when you want once the course is done. So I'll see you next Saturday, or your other instructor will see you next Saturday at 8 p.m. Thank you very much for coming. Have a great weekend.